HTC TechWave.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of HTC TechWave. I'm your host, Neerja, and today we are exploring a major shift in e-commerce, how AI is revolutionizing product discovery beyond traditional search, right? It's no longer just about matching keywords. AI now predicts what users need, often before they even know it. But how exactly is AI reshaping search relevance and personalization? How does it analyze patterns to deliver smarter recommendations? And most importantly, how can businesses leverage AI-driven discovery to enhance customer experience and drive higher conversions? Well, I've got just the right people with me today to help us understand this a bit better. We've got with us back on the show Adnan Saulat, SME in Consumer Services and AI Solutions at HTC Global Services and HTCNXT. And joining him today is Tom Buffery, Lead Product Manager responsible for the AI product discovery platform at Crownpeak. Welcome, Adnan. Welcome, Tom. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Neerja. Great to be back on the air. As our listeners may know, I work closely with consumer services and AI solutions at HTC and HTCNXT, helping businesses make better use of data and AI in their customer experiences. Over to you, Tom.
And Tom, as you say, I'm the lead product manager for Crownpeak's product discovery solutions. So basically anything roadmap future-based. And I started on the customer-facing side. So spent a long time face-to-face with them, and it gave me a real focus on making sure that we solve customer problems. And that passion has really helped me make sure that we deliver everything that they need.
Right. I'll hand it over to you, Adnan and Tom, to take the conversation forward. Very excited to hear all about the topic today. So over to you.
Thanks. I think we'll get started right at the top. So a lot of people hear the term product discovery platform, and some of them think that's a glorified search bar, but it's so much more. And what exactly is product discovery platform, and can you give it how it is relevant to brands today? How is it helping in search and navigation and other areas?
Yeah, sure. So product discovery, yes, search is a part of it, that search bar, but obviously the relevancy return after that is so key. Making sure that you get things in that first slot is absolutely paramount. Just the one row below is under half of the conversion. So, and also your bounce rate soar. So that's very, very key. Additionally, though, there's also navigation. So your left-hand navigation, your facets, your top navigation, wherever it is on your site, the category page merchandising, what the order of the products is on those pages, and your recommendations as well. So unless we're optimizing all of those, you are going to see huge drops in conversions, and not just from a commercial standpoint about getting your ROI, there may also be brand rules that you need to get in there. This can't be next to that, or I need to make sure that my own brand appear at the top. So those are all quite valid business goals as well, on top of just the commercial bit. When it comes to the relevancy bit, basically, how is it not relevant? We need to exceed those commercial goals that we've got. We need to ensure that customers find what they want quickly with relevancy, so they come back later. We need to make sure that they actually go through and buy those things, and we need to ensure that they're not returning those things. And if you get all of those things, you have happy customers, and they're gonna stick about and keep returning. So yeah, it's pretty apparent that we need to tick all of those boxes across the board.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of things the product discovery platform does. And it's great to hear, the overall view of how it is changing e-commerce overall. But there are quite a lot of platforms available in the market. So I'm just trying to understand from a Crownpeak perspective, how do you, distinguish or differentiate on the product discovery platform? What exactly are you providing new here?
Yeah, thanks. Makes sense. Well, there's lots of things that lots of providers do, but the thing that we do best than anyone else is enable the blend of your curation for AI-led exceptional global shopping experiences. And when I say global, I don't just mean we've got one thing worldwide. I mean, you can configure one thing worldwide, but it will draw on lots of local data points. So local stock, maybe it's new in America, but it's been out in Europe for a month. Maybe it's popular in one country, but not in another. So even though you've configured one thing, the AI will use its intelligence to push the right items to the right people. Because as I was saying, if you don't get that first spot perfect, then you're really going to be held back. So obviously the goal is to inspire shoppers to find new things and buy more, propel your brand success and propel your business success as well. So it's that curation that is our big bit, rather than anything too manual where you have to go in and change loads of stuff. You've got all the tools, all the automation, all the AI, and you just need to tweak it or select, use this here, use that there, and then it will run itself. So you have all the control without all the legwork to get that control.
That sounds quite a lot of new age technology embedded into how it reduces work for any person who's trying to run a large number of commerce websites and commerce front ends to automate their search and their discovery overall of their product sets. Just from a perspective of some examples in terms of, what business benefits or impacts does it provide to, let's say, loyalty or lifetime value overall with a product discovery platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, loyalty is paramount. I was on a call recently and the customer was saying their loyalty program gets 20% more revenue from the customers involved with it. So they're super keen on loyalty. And I think over 80% of those customers will be stickier. So that's amazing. So it's not just the loyalty programs. We can get involved very heavily. So generally, just making sure you delight shoppers is key for retention. If they find what they want quickly by making sure that your category pages and search pages are relevant, making sure that it's tailored to their needs, making sure that your navigation is right, you've got all of the right things in there so they can find what they want and filter down to what they need, making the process basically seamless, frictionless, and that they don't have any frustrations. That's one key way. The other way is you can be smart about what you show customers. So you could demote items with low ratings or demote items with high returns is another way to make sure that you're not just delighting them at the point of purchase online, but once it's been delivered as well. And another way is segmentation. So yes, we can look at general popularity of items, and some customers do like to do that. They want to be known for those items that they're famous for, and that's great. However, making sure that we're showing the exact right items for the shopper can have a huge impact. So we're not just seeing whatever anyone else wants. If I'm a bargain hunter, I want to see the bargain products. If I'm a high value shopper, I may want to see those, and down to very, very micro segments there. And obviously over time, as people get more and more comfortable with handing things over to AI, moving to one-to-one personalization as well, so that they see exactly what they want based on all the information that we have today.
These are great insights, Tom. And I think what is exciting is how fast this entire space is evolving, especially with generative AI becoming part of the picture. So what we wanted to talk about is a little bit about how digital e-commerce search and product discovery experiences changed due to generative AI, and what are the ways in which it is influencing that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gen AI, wait for it, is good at generating new things. So rather than copying something that's been trained to do, it's good at coming up with new things, next best action that maybe it hasn't necessarily seen before. So this can come up in lots of ways. So conversational search or agentic search, however you guys would like to call that, similar to like a chat GPT interface, it intuits the best question to ask the customer to extract their preferences. So it knows exactly what to ask to find out exactly what they want, so we can just show them exactly what they want and avoid any choice paralysis, convert seamlessly, just get all of the information and then show them that only. Or even from a product detail page, you could give shoppers confidence there and say, okay, I'm looking for something waterproof. Is this waterproof? Can I see a size guide? Is this popular? I guess for technical catalogs, does this part work with this machine? All of these things that just give the customers confidence, where before they may have had to go off-site or somewhere else or go into an article, and that distracts and leads to higher bounce rates. This can just help close that gap much quicker and lead to a quick conversion. And then they'll keep coming back for more as well because it was so easy and seamless. or you can enrich search with it because it has a really deep understanding of all of the product history, all of the products, all of the data, the shoppers, the way that they search, the intent of their queries, all of these things. So you build up an embedding of the query and an embedding of the product, and then you just find the two closest ones of them. We understand exactly what the shopper's after, and we understand exactly everything about these products, so show them the right one. And then once you've got that in search, why not extract that rather than hiding it just in search? Let's get that out and have those as actual product tags so that merchandisers can use them in their merchandising. Let's gather these products together. We've identified that it's a party product, or that it is for Valentine's Day, or it is whatever you've grouped that product based on your deeper understanding through the generative AI. Let's make sure the merchandisers can use that as well. So that's another one. One area where it's unlocked completely new things is the data analysis. And while it was possible before to do data analysis, spotting every possible opportunity really deep down in these reports or trends between. For example, if you're saying generally across all searches that involve women's wear, we're noticing this trend compared to menswear. It's very difficult to come out with that trend as a human because you'd have to combine all searches that look at menswear, all searches that look at women's wear, and they don't always mention the word men's and mention the word women's. So these are the kind of areas where you can start to see outliers or trends or new opportunities that we couldn't necessarily spot on our own. And if we could, it would have taken weeks and months. And obviously we can automate mundane tasks. We can look at automating testing plans that we've said to set up. We want to make sure that we've got the best ranking for click-through rates this month. Please go away and test that based on these 10 different variables. And it can find the optimal blend of all of them to show the most relevant things to customers. So that's just a handful. There's many that we can do, but it basically all comes down to understanding your products or your customers better.
Absolutely. I think the ways in which generative AI can help can be many. And I came across one example where even the store associates for a retailer were using their generative AI search discovery platforms to kind of answer questions for their customers. Very interesting times that we are in. This brings us to an important point, and I think you touched upon it a little bit when we talked about loyalty, which is personalization. There is a trade-off between offering hyper-personalized experience and then user privacy. And there is a lot of debate that has already happened in this area. So how do brands strike the right balance? And, what are the practices or frameworks in this area that are emerging? If you could throw a little bit light on those things.
Yeah, of course. Well, obviously, it's a little bit of a paradox. We want to personalize everything, but you can't do that without knowing something about the customer. So we need some of their data, which obviously raises privacy concerns. And I think it's all about finding the balance, really. So we have to make sure that users get enough value from the data that they offer. We don't want to be wasteful and take loads of data we're not using. We don't want personal identifiers, any of that. So we need to be really transparent about what we're collecting. We need to allow them to opt in, opt out. We need to make sure that we're only collecting that very minimal amount of stuff and make sure that we use all of it to create value for the shopper. Anonymize it, obviously. And then obviously just don't go too far with it. I think this mainly applies to some of the more niche areas like gambling and whatever, but don't use it to manipulate people either, because obviously there's just a moral issue there. But it can also filter down into gift giving, guilting people into spending too much. We don't want to do any of those things. We want to make sure that we're using it to a sensible level.
Sure. Let's shift gears to a business perspective. Now, suppose I'm a retailer who has a basic on-site search and merchandising in place today. What would you suggest as the roadmap or the strategy to move forward towards an AI-based product discovery platform? And how soon can a business see ROI from these kinds of implementations?
New customers don't always want to hand over all control to new AI, and that's very reasonable. They've had their business strategies. They've been mostly working for a long time, but they want to see a small change. So we always recommend that you retain the control you need. but while testing things. So if you start small, test the results, prove the value, and understand how that affects your product ordering, understand how that affects your commercial metrics, understand the control that you are now comfortable having, or maybe you're comfortable giving some up because you've seen it successful and it's still in line with your brand goals. And then roll that out and consider the next step, because then you've got the data and you can move forward in an informed way. For example, the customers may have product popularity in their rankings. Most do. This sells well, let's get it to the top of the page. Why not use AI to make that smarter and have some kind of affinity score like we provide, where it has clicks and adds to basket and purchases all considered from searches and from category pages separately. And rather than just purchases, use that and then segment it so that myself and yourself may see slightly different things if we have different affinities to different products. Because why would I see the generic stuff when it could be tailored to what I'm after? And why people like that as a first step as well is because it's not only relevant to the shoppers, but it also enables a caching strategy if you use segmented personalization. Some people still want to cache their web pages, which is completely fair. And if they do, a segmented approach allows you to cache 4 versions, 20 versions, however many versions of the page you're comfortable with. So you can still have that caching strategy and apply personalization at the same time. But obviously, the end goal, one-to-one personalization deployed where it's relevant for those shoppers. And that works also in other areas. It could be for example, AI search. So you may have been grooming all of your product data for the last decade. So you've got it in the perfect state to work with more legacy search. But there are weaknesses to legacy search. For example, the more natural language that is coming into search today. And this is where AI search definitely stands out, heads and shoulders above the rest. So use it there. When you're getting bad results from a legacy search, then we would hand that bit over to AI search. As you get comfortable, you see the results, you get happier and happier. You move that up into more and more common searches until eventually it will start to take over those. But only as much as you'd like. If you're still comfortable with your own internal data powering legacy search, then we can keep that the way it is. So it's just like a sliding scale and you move up and up and up. However, there are some where it just unlocks brand new things. So visually similar recommendations or shop the look recommendations based on what's in the image. Potentially, that isn't data that you were capturing at the point that those pictures were taken. If it's not, it's almost impossible to tag your whole catalog with those visually similar or with the look recommendations so you get the matching shoes with the outfit. So allow AI to do the heavy lifting, basically. So those you can just test out the box. Other ones may be a bit more of a sliding scale and build up based on those KPIs that you've set.
Surely. Yeah, they're very interesting points in terms of the implementation strategy. Sticking to implementation, making it real, there should be some challenges that any customer should consider or things that are important when you go into this implementation of integrating AI into a product discovery. What would be some of those challenges that any typical customer would face, and how do we kind of solve some of them?
Yeah. So, I mean, people always used to say and still say rubbish in, rubbish out. This is still true, less so with Gen AI. It can deal with a few more of these outliers, a few more issues with the data. But typically, even though it has that better inherent understanding, you do still want your data to be in as good a shape as possible. So you can improve it over time, but I think an initial improvement plan to get that as good as you can in a short period of time, just saying a small project, that can help a lot. The other one is probably not setting the correct success criteria. So what are you trying to achieve? Don't just go, we need AI. We have to say, we want to ensure that we have happier customers so by them finding things quicker. Or we have noticed that this group of customers struggles to find what they need. So identify that group of customers and tailor something around the rules for them. So then you can start, once you know exactly what you're looking to achieve, you can start putting in success measurements. So, okay, so now we're going to measure that we want there to be fewer clicks. Now we're going to track that segment and make sure that those guys see the products that they want quicker. Whatever the goal is, but you need to start with the objective or the issue or the thing that you're trying to achieve, basically. And once you've got those goals and you've defined the success, the supplier will be able to help you with that.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks. I think to our listeners, what I would say is in terms of HTC and Crownpeak, we are partners. And if you have a requirement for a product discovery platform or any digital transformation initiative, we can work with you. There is a lot of inherent knowledge in this area. HTC as a implementation partner and Crownpeak as a IP provider for a product discovery platform and a consulting partner can help you in your journey. And it can be a very quick go-to-market journey that we can enable for you together. So always reach out to us if you have something like this that you would need. I'll pass it on to Neerja.
Thank you, Adnan. And thank you, Tom, for giving us the lay of the land, the A of the land, if that's how one would pronounce AI. A terrible joke, thankfully overshadowed by this fascinating conversation. We've explored how AI is reshaping product discovery, from Gen AI's impact on search relevance to the delicate balance between personalization and privacy, and from unlocking better business outcomes to enhancing customer journeys. It's clear that product discovery is no longer just a back-end feature. It's a strategic differentiator that drives real value. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to HTC TechWave. We will catch you soon with more voices and views shaping the tech landscape. Bye-bye.
HTC TechWave.